definitely inted sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's going to be the theory here. So I've started the recording, and this is probably going to be the one that I upload to YouTube. So let me just give a disclaimer. So you had
Right.
internet issues, kind of conked out. We were talking about your Sojourn playmaking, which is basically the dichotomy of like versus like heavy dive comps. You take an off angle, save your shift for when they pressure you. Versus these spam comps, the hard thing that we were having is like finding value out of shift if they're not going to dive you. And then also, how do I get charged when I can't even peak their DPS? So it was like playing more passively on a more passive off angle. And then kind of aggressively shifting and using the rail and E, like almost like a Genji dash almost, to take an off angle. So I guess once we skip past the laggy parts, let's actually see how this goes.
Yeah, just first 3 minutes.
Okay, first 3 minutes in. Mag troll, I assume it's you.
Yeah.
So
The
like
first
right,
game of the day.
like here, ish.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, perfect. All right, let's take a look. Because like this is like the perfect. I'm so glad that you got this map and this comp because this is exactly what we wanted, right? Like, no dive, nothing that you can really leverage your mobility versus, but also like heavy spam damage. Looks like we have a sound barrier bug, so the audio is kind of weird. Nice job. Good try. I would have comboed E into that, 100%. Just to make sure. I mean, you're definitely like as soon as you miss the rail, like E immediately. Usually you combo rail into E when the target's like full HP. So if you hit the body shot, you can finish the kill with the E. But that guy was pretty low, so you're like, oh, I don't need the E, but then you miss the rail, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Okay. Good E. And then now we were talking about like Rambo, right? Right there, that's it. You see that? Like, because like here's the thing, is like you can off angle on cart here. You've got two options, right? Hardcore passive off angle on cart, right? Or do this, because if we look at this Widowmaker's crosshair, you see here?
Yeah.
You see it? That's what we want, right there. Like, you see how much harder that is for her, and that's an advantage that you need to be leveraging. It's like basically a grapple on like a 7-second cooldown, right? If I'm coaching a Widowmaker, I'm telling her to grapple off the cooldown in the Widowmaker duel if she can. This is perfect. And the other thing too is this Ryan's going to be getting frustrated. One little detail I would say here is you're probably peaking for too long. So see how you're peaking at 77 charge? You don't need to.
Right.
So here, and then again, like there's too much uptime here. And I know that the charge is really high, but you could just be like, this ends now, shoot. Shoot, like beta peak and then shoot again. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still like, you have a slight advantage, but it's still scary, right? So maybe be a little bit more strategic with how you're peaking that. Nice. Nice. Okay. Against this comp, like, it's like you either want to be doing this where it's like, oh my god, this guy's feeding, right? Well, this is super laggy. Did you just see that pixel skip? That's fine. This is lots of pixel skipping here. Okay. This one is the only problem that I'm seeing here. Like, this is definitely the right theory. What's the mistake here?
I should have gotten out sooner.
Yeah, you have no. First off, you have no rail, right? So that you shouldn't be peeking this at all. And second off, your team is over here, so you're literally like 1v5ing. But it's like, and this is what's going to happen, right? You're going to take like this strategy, and then you're going to apply it too much, and you're going to make some like timing mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But at least this is the right idea. Just you need to have rail when you do it. And then you're already thinking like, you know, where's my dive here? I appreciate the discipline there. Right here. But this is where you need to be doing your E combo.
E? Yeah.
Yeah, E combo 100%. This is exactly what we want though, because in theory, especially with the beat, you can slide up here, rail, and then worst case scenario, you just drop. But you've created so much space off of that engage, right? Just want to see the E. That's all.
Yeah.
And then again here, it's like, once your beat HP is expired and you're low on charge, you need to be really careful about this. Because it's like what we talked about. It's like the bursts of aggression and then kind of having a little bit of humility afterwards. E is fine, just obviously like just peeking here we were like, oh crap.
I didn't really want to slide in there.
There's no point. Yeah, there's no point sliding in here. Yeah, that's just suicide, because it's like if you slide in, you die. Like there's no escape route, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you're fine. There's not a whole lot to say here. Just gonna win this. Okay. Timing is good. I'm a little concerned that you might not be able to get a lot of support, but if your on is like sweating, maybe you're okay. I think the main thing for me, the reason why I don't love this ultimate more than anything else is it's like there just isn't anything happening. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. Honestly, if I was coaching this Winston, I'd say the same thing. Like really, there's no reason for this Winston to jump. Like even with this Hanzo here, it's like you just haven't really earned this space. You guys are gonna end up pushing cart all the way to here for free anyway. You know what I'm saying? Make them actually take the initiative. So I appreciate you timing it off of your Winston engage, but your Winston engage is stupid.
Yeah,
so
it's just
like,
not a good spot to.
Yeah, it's just there's just nothing that you can really force here. You know, like it's too easy for them to hide. So it was just it wasn't a bad ultimate in terms of the timing, but the placement is just there's just no reason to. Now this, yeah. I know what you're about to do, and as long as your team is with you, this has a chance to work. Just rail E. So you messed it up, but in theory, okay.
Yes, I hit it. As well as this play, yeah, I think my mechanics are gonna be a lot better because like it's very challenging. Like
it is challenging.
To hit the shot.
It is challenging.
So I think that'll.
And again, it's like the Widow example. You see this crosshair?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You have the advantage in this duel if you time this right. And I think you timed it maybe a little early. Maybe it would have given my Sigma a little bit more time to walk forward, right? And obviously the rail E has to, like, you have to be better with this.
Yeah.
That being said, I want you kind of like look at the space that you guys control off of this. Like look at the panic right here. Bam, bam, bam. Everybody freaks. I mean, even a trance forced, right? It gets them. It makes them very uncomfortable. And then you get and then again the visor now, right? So the visor, you know where this Hanzo's got his crosshair, right? He's either thinking visor or wherever Sonic is, and so then now he should die. The only problem here is one. Again, if we want to really be nitpicky about this, what should you have done?
Should just wait a second.
Well, yeah, wait a second just for a little bit more time, and then also if you have your E here as well, right? Guarantee. I guarantee at least trade, right? Guarantee at least trade. Like, I think what you're gonna look at here is that you're gonna notice that like, okay, I need to have my E, or I need to be confident that I'm gonna hit the headshot, or even if I don't hit the headshot, if I can only get the body, then I would go a little bit late, for example, right? Yeah. I think like, you know how we always talk about like the timing of how aggressive the play is the later you need to go. I think this is like one of those examples here where you're on time, but it's such an aggressive play, it's probably reasonable to wait like a half a second longer until you see this right here and then to go for that play.
Right.
But that right there is exactly the type of play that we were talking about. That's exactly it. Because the thing is like when you have your rail, that's the best way to force the value out of the rail. You know what I'm saying? If you don't shift that Hanzo, what can you rail there? You know, let's actually go back and look.
Yeah. That is an issue I noticed myself having.
Is having rail and not being able to.
Right. So like, what can you rail here? You know, are you gonna like
Yeah,
pray that Hanzo peeks you? Or is that what if that kind of thing? Like you wanna win. Like when you have rail, you're like the best 1v1 hero in the game, really. So it's like when you have rail and E. So like that's your spike. So you need to be so strong at that spike. Okay. And again, this is good, but for crying out loud, you got to get that E combo. Like right here. Bam, bam. I mean, animation cancel. That works really well with the primary fire delay anyway, right? Because there's that delay, so you get that accent, that damage out so nicely. Because that's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for you as well, because we've always been about like E placement for zoning, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've never really been as like actively using it to win 1v1s. And now
Would E first be a little better? That way, like, right as I hit the railgun, the E will explode.
It depends on
also
what you're
does
doing. It
animation cancel.
depends on what you're doing. Like for example, if you're diving here, it's such a like it's so close, you know, that it's gonna hit instantly. The E will, right?
Right.
So if you're at range, maybe you could E. It might also put them on the back foot that allows you to hit the rail a little bit. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I could also see it be like giving them a heads up that, you know, putting them on the back foot is like not what you want them to do. You want them to be relaxed and distracted. You kind of see what I'm saying? Before you jump in and rail. Like for example here, if you shift in and then E then rail, is that going to give the Batiste time to react? As opposed to the other way around. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I definitely will put it this way. When you're playing versus a composition like this, I know using E for zoning is going to be a lot better. But if you see an opportunity or a need to go for a slide, you might want to save the E for that combo. To guarantee that duel. Because again, talking about two of the most powerful 1v1 cooldowns in the game. Good idea. I mean, this is it, right? This is exactly what you should be doing, right? Especially with the beat, you just mess it up. And now just think about how much better this would be if with a tighter primary fire spread and with an actual pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like Zen Orb, Mercy Pocket, anything like that. It's gonna be a lot better. It's just about finding ways that you can like actually get something out of the hero, despite it just being terrible in these matchups. Like it's just suboptimal, but this is the best way to make it work. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
No,
Alrighty. I mean, even this, right? If I'm playing Widow here, I'm scoping right here, right? And then you just shifted the high ground and peek me and blow my head off, right? I'm not expecting it's like playing a Widowmaker duel, basically, where she doesn't know where you are and you quickly use your shift to readjust and then hit your rail. Right there, right? Now. Maybe at that distance, maybe not. Maybe okay that you didn't use like the rail E at the Widow. Probably just focus on hitting the rail, you know.
Also just one shot.
Right. But even with a body shot, right? But at that distance, it's just not worth. And generally versus a Widow, you're gonna have a much higher chance of hitting the headshot, right? Just would have repositioned. I just didn't like your positioning, to be honest with you. Would have shifted over here.
Backed up to the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have done that.
Yeah, nothing super complicated there. Alright. Now this is where you could get really cute. You could just shift here and just like play here, you know what I'm saying? And just be a nuisance. You don't always have to like go for these like Rambo shifts if you can just take like an oppressive off angle and play like a tracer, you know? Because I don't think you're gonna get punished for this here. Just shift out. Or just do that, that also works. Kind of a blind E, under a little bit of pressure, I'm sure. But you guys don't have any heals. Yeah, I think that's it. Alright. Yeah, see, this is kind of what you're doing on second point attack a little bit, where you were like, oh, I'm playing Rambo, but you don't have an off angle, you're just standing in the open with 0 rail. That's stupid. Right. Play to your advantage, avoid it when you don't. And see, even this, I actually think this is pretty bad, to be honest with you. So what do you know here? So you know first off that the Zarya is busy, so that's one green light. And you know that your Winston is engaged, so that's another green light. But what's the problem about what you do here? Who has the advantage in this duel?
Probably Widow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely 50-50. That's not good enough for me because right. She's sitting, she's pre-scoped, right? Mm-hmm. So what should you do here instead? You got a couple options.
I could just shift to the middle.
You could literally just shift this way, right here. Just deepen your angle, right? Or you could shift up to here, like you said here, and use your ult from here. Just or you could even do the tiniest little detail. You could go, boop, and then press your ult. You know what I'm saying? Just you could press your ult and just go boop, bait the fire, and then walk out that way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Shoulder peek. I mean, anything here. This is just like a better Widow kills you right here. You're dead right now. Mm-hmm. Because at best, it's a 50-50. I mean, even when you peek is actually bad, too, because look at when you peek. It's the same thing you're doing on first point, where you're peeking at 58 charge, right? You don't really have the advantage here. I mean, heck, your crosshair placement isn't even that good right now. She actually has just the straight-up advantage here. She just misses the shot. You got rolled. This is good, though. Chill a little bit with the shots. Just because you're going Rambo mode doesn't mean you have to rush things. I mean, she's cooked. That was good. That's hilarious. Like closing the blast doors in the Star Wars movie or something. Oh, no. Nice! That's a great shot right there. That's like 2 clutch shots in the Kiriko in a row. Be careful again here, right? No ego here, yeah. This is good. And then I know what you're about to do, and I like it. Now, they're not on Widowmaker anymore, which definitely is opening up your positioning options to go back for more of the passive playstyle, right? Where you just hold an angle and just burn. If they get off this Hanzo, then you're cooking, right? Then you're good to go. But I know you're about to shift, right?
I also think this playstyle is better, especially against like Junker Queen Zaryas, because it's tough to get charge against those people. So like making sure I get the my one shot I have a fight is
full value out of the charge. Because the other thing you have to notice as well is like this isn't just about guaranteeing the spike of value with a rail. It's also about causing the most chaos that you possibly can. Right. It's a little bit riskier, but there's a much higher reward out of it. So I would just shift here, to be honest with you. Like, I know it's a little bit risky because you are by yourself, but I don't think they're going to punish you for doing this. I think it's worth a shot. I know I'm breaking my quote-unquote timing rule here, but I think Sojourn, there's some nuance of that. Yeah, this is good, though. I mean, I can't really complain. Let's see the rail E here. Yeah, you got to get that combo. Yeah. It's still good, though. You still followed up off of it, so it's good. I like this too. I like that pushing up and getting charged. As long as you can't peek Hanzo or don't peek Hanzo, you just automatic. And now it's like the funny thing here is like if you can get healed here, you're like the most powerful DPS in the game right now. Like you just enter this fight at an advantage. So like as weak as Sojourn is at different times, like if you're able to just like greed this kind of crap here, it's like building like 10% ult charge between fights as Sombra because you farmed EMP. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you can do that, Sombra's really good. If you can build your rail, this hero's really good. I would be paying a little bit more attention to what's going on over here. You've got your rail, you know. Where is everybody here? You know what I'm saying? It's like you're too tunneled on this Zarya right now. I know Kiri's far away, but where the frick is Hanzo? Where is Reaper? Where is Ana? Where are these guys? Like, you need to get this guy. You need to get this going. Again, E, right? I'm telling you, if you get that combo down, it's going to make your life a lot easier. This is pretty good. Again, this is like typical Sojourn stuff. And now you've got charge. Oh, that sucks. That was in theory the right play. They just kind of juked you. I wouldn't bother shooting her anymore. Again, the E.
Yeah.
It's fine. She should.
I never really thought about that.
Yeah, she should have died. It's just something that you probably don't use as much when you're focusing on just shooting on an off angle, just railing, like whatever, because you never get that close to people, but now you do, so. Won't say it.
Yeah, jump type that.
Yeah.
I think
This is where okay, this is fine-ish, but this is so scary peeking.
I would have. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
I was gonna. Sorry, I thought you were gonna say something else.
No,
But yeah,
no,
it's
no,
bad because it's Hanzo.
I think this is where, like, if you'd had any charge here, like even like 60 or 70 charge, like not even full, shift and or something, or shift across.
I was gonna pop all shift across, but then we killed too. So I did, but then I just kind of was like, all right, I still gotta drop. When
and popping ult here would have been still pretty risky because remember you still don't have heal support over there. I think like because like you got to think about like I want to go in aggressively, but I need to try to keep LOS on my supports if I can. Which again is why this hero is so strong with the pocket because you can do that kind of stuff. Even if it's just a Zen orb, it's like so much stronger. And in reality, it reminds me a lot of Genji and Pharah, where if you could just put, or Echo too, actually, like if you could just put a little bit of heal support on, because they're like high risk, high reward flankers without a lot of self sustain. Yeah.
I hit some shots here. It would have been great. Yeah.
I mean, it's still okay. I think the only thing I would say here. Couple of things. First off, number one, the timing is not very good actually, because you guys have popped BAP window, and remember this is a high risk, high reward play. So when do high risk, high reward plays execute? Right.
Second after.
Right. Always go a little bit late. Right now, you guys have already scared them, and then you're scaring them again. Right. It's no point. Okay. So that's number one. That's the biggest thing. Let them walk up. Let them push an advantage. Catch them with their pants down. Right. The second thing here is what you said, the E as well. Because right here, I'm praying for E. If you hit E right here, it's over. You know, it's literally over. I mean, he's dead. He's just completely dead. And the Ana's dead too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But again, you have the spirit of the law. This is your first game after we talked about it. You know what I'm saying? For crying out loud. So I think...
It ends in the most...
Okay, I'm scared. All this is good. Low risk peaks for charge. That was not so good. Because remember, this Kiriko's peeking you. Also, crouch here, shoot the Zarya in the butt. You know what I'm saying? This is your charge. Then if you get what you do is you hear Grav, and then you can, or you hear even just rail. If you're not Sonic, you can peek here, right? Or you hear Grab, you shift out this way, rail E. You know what I'm saying? Total feed. There it is. There it is. But the problem is what? Two problems.
I should have gone from the other side. So
correct. Why?
Peek, because then I'm like.
You're a flanker.
They're all looking main.
You're a flanker, right? Make them at least turn around. Because if you rail E here and you miss, you're still gonna be able to like duck and hide, and you're gonna die. But you're gonna make it. You're gonna waste more time, get more value. This is all in. You take a body shot before you've even shifted in.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of like what we don't want to see. That being said, the irony here is that's actually, you don't do it quick enough, but that's the first time you did your rail E.
Yeah.
It's the first time. And it does create a lot of space. In fact, it almost kills that Hanzo. So, yeah, that's okay. Again, spirit of the law. Just not executed very well. Alright, that's it. Let's keep going. Any questions so far?
No.
All right. I want you to be more conservative with your peak angle here. I think this is too aggressive of a flank too early. Because remember, if you get shot here, what happens?
I'm forced out. Yeah, no healing.
Too much downtime. So you see
Does it
Hans
change because the mini's there.
Marginally. That gives you one shot. Body shot from Cassidy,
right.
You're good, right? But that's not going to be it. So what I would do here is you can avoid the Hanzo, right? So just sit here on cart and shoot. And shoot. A little scary, but you're okay. You're okay. I mean,
actually, right after I did this, I remember thinking, "Oh god, this is terrible."
And then what you do is you have rail, right? And then now you know what you do, right? You rail, shift, E, get in there, light them up. right? It's an all-in, but if you're gonna do it, now is the perfect time. Unfortunately, here, this is the problem. You're walking out at 32 charge. You failed. And you failed miserably, right? And now your monkey dies for it, so. I mean, look at their Zenyatta, right? Look how much space that your monkey gets, right? Bam, there's Sleep Dart, there's Nade, Zen's 1, they're all low, he gets big cleave. I mean, yeah, it's not good. Even just an E there would have been massive. Okay. Is that it? Okay, no, it's not quite. Kind of it. Yeah, you don't even have time to build rail again. Okay. So a little bit more clear. Don't get on the flank if they got poke too much, right?
Right.
Take the more passive angle, take the more aggressive angle, and so you have the charge. You're a very cyclical hero. This is what we want you doing, right? This is what you want you doing. Maybe playing a little bit further up, but I honestly think this is fine. You're LOSing the Hanzo, you're using Rhine Shield, you're going to build rail, and then if you know Hanzo's here, that's when you peek the Hanzo E, kill him, force him out, right? Definitely rail E here. Like, you're sitting on your E way too long.
Yeah.
Now the fight's lost. Okay, so
that's it.
You guys touch? No.
Touch for a second.
Yeah. Okay, GG's. Yeah, okay. Any questions?
Not really about the Sojourn right now.
Okay.
I have a question about Pharah.
Sure.
So Pharah Mercy versus just an Echo, like no or anything. Isolated 1v1. I know there's a bunch. Actual game is a bunch of variables, but just for the sake of it, isolated like 2v1. Who's supposed to win that?
Pharah's not supposed to die. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Pharah's not supposed to die. The reason why is because the Echo can't play split enough from her team consistently enough to be able to assassinate the Pharah. Right now, can the Echo to get the kill? Yes. If she hits any stickies, you will die.
Okay.
However, that is pretty difficult to do, and it basically assumes that she doesn't get shot and demand pocket from anybody else. If you're a Pharah, you're gonna have a hard time shooting her. Even Yazin, it's hard, right? Echo is a phenomenal Pharah counter. However, any damage from your Ana, Tracer, Soldier, Ashe, Sombra, anything, if she doesn't have a pocket, it's hard for her. It's really hard. Also, Pharah is a lot better at not only dealing with grouped up Reaper Moira comps in terms of like raw damage, but Pharah generally also has a slightly easier time dealing with hit skins in terms of like open maps. So it's just easier to get on top of them and then one direct and they're pretty much dead. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, mate. Any other questions?
And if let's say I have a team fight where I'm wearing the Sojourn thing, and it's like, is this a good play or not? To ask you, would you rather me? I know they're really specific to me. Should I put them in Ask Bio or DM you?
Well, you still have a replay code review, right? So what you could do is you could just send me the replay code with a few timestamps, and I'll take a look at it. You could also send me like 3 or 4 different replay codes with like 1 or 2 team fights each. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be all the timestamps for once, but just be like, hey, what about this? What about this? So on. And worst case scenario, you can throw them in Ask Bio too. It doesn't matter. So let's type this up. So Sojourn versus Spam. It's the passive or proactive versus reactive playstyle. Reactive being the proactive being the hold and angle, bait, pressured, shift out, versus avoid peeking, spam, shift to aggro, angle, and dive once rail. Okay. Work on recognizing peak, recognizing timings for your reactive dive and combo with E whenever possible. Avoid getting sloppy with peaks versus snipers, etc. when you are on 0 charge. There's a lot of other micro in there as well, like making sure that you're shifting to not through the middle of the enemy team, trying to take an angle, going late, the more aggressive the play, trying to not peek until you're full charge if you do have to peek a sniper. Try to think like a sniper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In those duels. And but yeah. Okay. No questions?
No questions.